super cranky, super cranky, super cranky, super cranky, super cranky.
First off, I don't care what you people say. Never follow rules. I'm a trendsetter anyway. Okay, I march to the beat of my own drum. They say I need rules in my life. Well, I got some. That's one. Kill the competition. Two. Be a loyal dog. Three. And if they snitching on your man, send them to the mall. Four. When you party, go hard till you hit the floor. Five. If you didn't see me do it, what the hell you asking for? Welcome to my world. Llama.
Hey, everybody out there. Welcome to the Big Llama Show. I am the Big Llama. Thank you so much for joining me on the Sunday night live stream. Every Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are here talking about all kinds of stuff, whatever comes to mind, whatever the chat says, whatever is happening in entertainment and pop culture. But again, I don't do this show alone. The title may say Big Llama Show, but it says featuring Blackout AD. So I bring on my co-host, Blackout AD. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you tonight?
I arguably might be the best co-host on YouTube.
You know what? You are the best co-host on YouTube. There's no argument. There's no argument. There's no discussion.
What's good with you, Llama?
I'm good, man. I'm feeling good. I kind of want to bring the energy and be hyped tonight. Because I don't know, man. Like there's a lot of shitty things happening in my world. Right. Yeah. But I love coming on here and just talking to people and answering questions and just, chopping it up, shooting the shit because, it's just an escape, man. So I hope the people out here who are on the chats are escaping with us, having fun with us on a Sunday night, hopefully enjoying a beverage of some sort, getting themselves ready to go to bed, I guess, for the Monday grind if they're working on Monday. If not, you get ready to play some games tonight, then fucking chop it up with us here tonight. So how have you been, man? You've been busy, man. You school and everything else, right?
One more month, man.
One more, that's it.
Yeah. It's been kind of a grind because I not fell behind, but I was definitely behind on some stuff. And I had like lower grades than I wanted. So I did like a project this past week that like assured that I'm going to be passing with pretty decent grades, pretty much all B's. So I'm excited. I'm just trying to get through the grind because I know once school's over, it's really the move back to Florida. And once that happens, I think that's when Blackout's really going to start running it up like we were last year. But to me, on a bigger level, so much better as a creator since I started. School helped
For
me.
sure.
So, and I got a lot of ideas. I mean, even with the merch, like bringing the merch to life and probably doing it in-house, because I think that would be one, it'll be more beneficial to the money side of it, but also good learning process of actually building, the merch side, the media side, and really take over this next year. So I feel good, man. I feel real good.
No, that's good, man. That's good. And it's a grind for you, man. And I appreciate you coming on Sunday nights with me every Sunday. But yeah, man, I was excited, man. You were doing a podcast, right? You had tweeted out or sent it out, and I was like, oh man, he's doing a podcast without me. But then here I am. I'm the bitch. I did a podcast without you.
You didn't even mention me, and it was. I find that. Well, no, we'll talk about it. I find that blasphemy. The greatest hot take on our show. He doesn't know how to cross pollinate.
Oh, I forgot
the greatest hot take. That clip rings bells to this day.
I forgot all about that until you just mentioned it. That you thought Aladdin was mid, and I thought it was great. So, oh man, we got our friend. The other AD, AD Whitman from Scared Witless, who's come on. He networks with a bunch of different groups. I guess from his niche and everything. So it's been fun. I've been kind of popping into some of his groups, man, and they're supportive as hell. So that I got probably 8 or 10 subs this just from being on his last group that he was on. So thank you. For sharing my links over there, man. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, man, that's for sure. He says he'll be listening at work. He's switching shifts, so he's grinding right now. Yeah, man. For your move to Florida, though, I sent you the picture, but yeah, man, I got this new equipment. I got some new mics, man. I am excited for you to get here to Florida so that we can do some live content and do it well and do it right. So, but yeah, let's not glaze over the Becon Rewind podcast that we did. So, what were your so again? I did the Becon Rewind podcast with Island Boy Manny or Chamorro Cinema as he's known in our circles. Very nice guy, awesome collaborator. He wants to do more of these things, and I said, listen, not a problem. He wants to do more animated things, animated movie discussions. So I said, hey, absolutely. I mean, that's something that's in his wheelhouse, and he'd love to do it. But you had a little bit of issue because I didn't mention your hot take on it being mid.
Didn't even mention. Listen, that podcast was biased, but I do gotta say, Island Boy Manny, he's really good on. He's just good in discussion. Like he was really good in discussion. He seemed very knowledgeable, and like from the things, because I follow him on Instagram, and I'll see the videos he's posting, and I'm like, the guy's got knowledge. So it's cool to see you collaborating. We with Black Eye, I think that's like the biggest thing is us collaborating with different creators and getting different perspectives on and actually growing our even for you. I think again, I would say growing as a broadcaster though, like that's you having somebody else with a different skill set and then bringing them on for like an animated movie, even though I think the movie was kind of I think it was a biased podcast towards that, but I think that's kind of what the Becon Rewind is though. Like you're bringing on people who love the movie. Besides like Gabe, I think Gabe was the only one that didn't love the movie he was on, so he gave us that different perspective. But other than that,
it was weird because I was kind of nervous to have him on. Again, I've talked to him on and off, and he actually invited me to one of his live streams one time, and that's how we kind of met. Yeah. But I always knew the guy was a good talker. Like he's able to articulate certain things that I found very interesting. So he had a couple of great points in the podcast about kind of the duality of Aladdin and Jafar, and I was like, man, I've never thought of it that way. And so there was just a lot of cool vibes with him. So you're right though, it was fun to just get a perspective of somebody else, and that's the essence of the Becon Rewind podcast. Is it's not about me necessarily, even though I do enjoy the movie or enjoy the subject. I really like to hear from other creators, other people say like, what's your favorite part of this movie? what did it influence you? What's your feelings on it? So
Yeah.
it was I thought it was a really good podcast. But I did mention our show at the beginning of the podcast within the listening cycle that everyone watches the show. So the average view was about 5.5 minutes, and in those 5.5 minutes, I mentioned our 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Sunday live stream. So it's there. Let's see. We got some folks. I guess this is on your Twitch stream. Yeah, Cade's on there. All right, welcome, sir. Birdie is in the building. He says Llama loves Hopelessly Devoted. Sandra D. And let's see. All right, so Gator says, I watched the Couple Be Kind Rewind, very wholesome and relatable.
Okay. Yeah, I think that honestly, that's to me, and I kind of want to, I don't know how you feel about this, but I kind of wanted to talk maybe more like shop this episode a little bit.
Yeah,
even if it's for a couple minutes. But with the Be Kind Rewind, like I think it fits your style of like being a host, because you're letting, like, again, you said you want to hear the perspective of like the people that love the movie. But I think you need to start breaking some of those pieces out, like, like clipping them and then putting them on your clips channel, because bro, that clips channel, watching the growth on it every day I look, it's like you're up like another 60. It's kind of like your first, and when you think about it, you have over 2,000 subs on YouTube now, so it's kind of dope. But I think I think I tagged you in it, but I seen a feature where now it's telling you, if you're sharing clips, it will tell you if they're live. So I think you need to do some clips on your channel, maybe different ones than you're putting on the clips channel, but just so we could get that feature when we're live for the stream and stuff. But man, it's crazy to see that those shorts blow up like that.
The insanity of it is that, like, within minutes, like, for example, the Joker one, which again, what I'm doing is tinkering. Like, I know I have a format for the trivia, the little known facts, that type of thing, and that's fun. But when I was tinkering with the Joker one, I said, let me just piece this the way I want it, because like that's my next thing, is I really want to focus on the scene, right? Like I've seen a bunch of scene breakdowns and I love that. So I was like, let me tease this and just kind of mess with it. And honestly, on my channel, my main channel, within, I want to say it was within 5 minutes, 1,000 views. Within 5 minutes, that one, no discussion, no, just a little blurb, 1,000 views. And I'm like, oh my God, like what is, like, how does this work? So I'm just trying to experiment, but man, on the other channel, all those clips are keep blowing up. I'm not even doing much for it.
Well, I mean, just on the YouTube side, YouTube side, geez, my talking skills are gone. But on the YouTube side, I feel like they are trying to compete with the TikTok and are trying to compete, because now TikTok does the live streams, and they have that icon where it says the person's live if you're just scrolling through. So I think they're trying to compete with them, and I think they're going to start pushing shorts even more. And I'm hearing a lot of people talk about, like, I don't know if it is now, but I definitely hear people talk about that there might be like some sort of monetization coming with that. And once the monetization comes, the algorithm's probably going to be hitting a lot harder. So I think for you, but my only thing is, I don't like that you don't do it without like your take on it. I with the scene, just because, like, how many people probably do that? And yeah, the scene's gonna go far because you're picking iconic scenes, so it's not like you're picking any lackluster scene. So they're always gonna do well. But I think with your perspective of the scene, or just your commentary or something, I think will benefit you even more just for your channel as a whole.
Yeah. I'm putting together a schedule, and I think that's my main thing, is because right now I'm actually just kind of testing, tweaking, but I have a set schedule in my brain of like the release, like how I want to release the reactions from the reaction channel, how I want to release my shorts in between, and then I got to start clipping this show. I got to start clipping reaction pieces so that every day I'm peppering a little bit of the show content out to the masses. And if that hits pretty big, then that's going to help the channel for sure. So definitely. Kate's got a good point here. He says here, YouTube shorts are about to go crazy because they're planning to monetize them. Yeah. And if they do ban TikTok, YouTube is going to be back in the limelight. I mean, I found myself in different platforms, like between Facebook, between Instagram and TikTok, and now YouTube, that I'm in the shorts. I'm in the small, quick hits when I'm bored, or if I'm just kind of standing in line somewhere doing something. So, and they grab me. Like Facebook has been grabbing me more and more. So it's like, it's not even like, because it used to be a brand preference. I used to be like, nah, TikTok is where I go for my short shit, Now I'm like, something just grabs my attention and I go there. And then before I know it's 20 minutes and I've scrolled through, 100 videos.
Yeah.
So on every platform. So they are pushing it a lot for sure. And the algorithm is picking everything up.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I was just reading something here.
No, yeah, so I think definitely that's got to be like a main focus. Even me, like I'm like, bro, like let me start putting some clips together just to like this next coming week. We got the Bird and Gabe coming, so I might have a little bit of time to like make some kind of content with them and try to make some some form and clip it out like we were doing before. But I think the shorts thing, especially on the YouTube side, the growth, like watching your thing grow, I was like, bro, there's a way you can capitalize on this. And that's a channel that has no videos other than the shorts, really. I mean, there's a couple clips that from our old podcast, but other than that, there's really nothing on there. So I think if you kind of get on a flow where you're posting a couple shorts and then maybe one video on that channel, and then maybe one or two shorts on your main channel, whether they're the same or not, I think personally maybe kind of keep them different. But
okay,
if you're in a little groove of doing that, man, I think your growth this coming year will be crazy, especially if, like what Kate is saying, they do start pushing it even more and the monetization comes in. I think you're setting yourself up early on without even knowing for success this coming year.
Oh yeah, and that's the key. The key for me is, I'm gonna remain consistent with the release of things, but yeah, I'm gonna dabble in all kinds of different things. So I'm definitely thinking channel growth in this year for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always appreciate your input on that, man, and trust me. Like I said, partnership for sure. Kate says here, my favorite parts were when you cried or got upset. You talking about me?
Yeah, dude, you're the only one that cries on camera.
Well, that is true. That is true. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, like you, AD?
Yeah. When's the last time you see me? Find me a clip where I'm crying on camera.
I don't think so, man. I don't think the one exists.
There might be soon, maybe. Another thing though with your channel, like, or even me, like moving back, and we were talking about that. I think that opens up, like, obviously we have the Blackout channel, and we see, like, me and you especially, like the people we watch, New Rock Stars are a bunch of creators working on one channel. Real Rejects is kind of going towards that lane. And last week I think I like joked around like maybe I should do like a movie review on for your channel or whatever. But I was really thinking about it, like, obviously with the Blackout channel, you're going to be a part of whatever videos we're doing, and that's going to be another channel for you to do your kind of content with, and same thing with like our live streams. But with your channel, I think maybe me moving back, there is a possibility to, like, I come over and film a video in your studio, same aesthetic, and just post it for the Llama show and kind of like build it like that as well. Since, we're like, I feel like I don't know, man, the school thing and like being at the finish line, I'm like, man, like this coming year is going to be crazy with content, especially going back and being around all you guys and being able to do different things. I mean, the possibilities are limitless with what we can do content wise. I mean, we already talked about doing out of theater reviews, or if there's like a freaking like Comic-Con or something, we can hit one of those. Like, I think this year's going to be a crazy year for us, and that's why I kind of wanted to like just talk about it, because we, this is really our only time where we're communicating in this form. We're talking throughout the week and stuff, but
yeah, no, and like I said, it's good to get perspective too of some of the guys in the chat if they have ideas and things. And again, listen, this is what we're doing. We're growing this channel. We're growing as creators, and so we want to keep sharing that growth with everybody. So no, man, I'm excited, man. I really do like the direction that I'm heading in. And again, the feeling I have when I'm creating stuff is different now. Like again, it's a very deliberate, focused message. And even my videos, like I now have my formula down. So it's really, now I know when to tweak it. So for example, depending on the type of video or the content, I know when to amp it, to reduce it. I know how to cut it. So I've been very, very confident, I would say, with my stuff.
Yeah, but
And
you've been doing it also
yeah, doing it
just
for a while now. This is
for a
year
year for you. But you said year 3 of the Llama show, but we've only had 1 year, 1 whole year. This is our 2nd year.
Well, you're right. Because we started in June, like June, June-ish. Yeah, we started. Yeah, right. You're right.
But besides the point, I'm like, why is Llama every? I feel so bad because I'm like, I'm so nitpicky, bro. I'm so annoying. But besides that, you've done it. I think last year was just your learning year. This year is more like you don't have to learn any. Well, I mean, you're gonna learn different things, but you don't have to learn the skills that you're using right now. You already learned them. So now it's gonna be really. I think your focus should be like being a better personality, being like getting your points out, be more articulate, like just becoming overall 100% better in how you present things, because your videos are already, like you said, you got the formula already down for that. So now it's working on the other side of your game. You know, it's almost like playing, it's almost like pitching. It's like you're working on your fastball all last year. You know, your fastball was building the channel. Now this year, let's start implementing a changeup and a curveball and see what you can do now. So that's how I'm looking at it, for me at least, as well. Like once I hit the, I mean, we've seen the kind of work ethic I put into the streams, and once that comes back, like there's no more excuses. It's literally, you know, I've been also doing like a lot of research, just like how to make money online, because I heard somebody say like, it's like, bro, people are out here risking their lives drug dealing, right? Still to this day. And well, at least when I was growing up, and I'm sure your times, it was more you needed to, because there wasn't that many options. But he was like, listen, there's YouTubers making as much more money than drug dealers right now. And you got people risking their lives for a penitentiary chance to make some kind of living, but they could just find a niche and make videos. So like that put it in perspective, like, bro, there's so much money out there to get. And I know like once I actually put the focus in, it's like we can really build this shit and scale it, I think, really fast. I mean, again, we've been laying the groundwork for over a year now, you know, for sure.
Yeah. And you're right. It's like there's so many opportunities to make money. There's so many opportunities to monetize whatever and take advantage of certain, you know, platforms and things that we have available. So there's no excuse for us not to continue to grow. But it's work. It's work, and you got to put, and that's the other part is I realize that, you know, thinking about like I have to put a schedule together. I got to make sure, because it is work. It's not, oh, I feel like doing this today. No, it's the grind. If I want to be successful, the grind is Monday recording, Tuesday editing and a short, Wednesday, 100%. You know, more editing, and then, you know, Instagram shorts, whatever. Like that's the rhythm to continue to be in people's faces. And that's the other thing too, is if you fall, like I've seen 4 or 5 creators, again, everyone deserves a break, but you can definitely tell they're gone. Like they took their breaks for summer. For the ones that are good had programming set in place. The guys who disappeared, they fucking disappeared off the map. They were nowhere to be found. And I like those creators, but I was like, you know, out of sight, out of mind. I found another one to fill that void. So, you know, and again, people, it's been a lot of fun, man. It's been a lot of fun to research and to do, but it is a grind. It's a job. And so that's the mindset I switched now.
I think you have to. And I mean, you're making great points right there, because before it was a hobby. I mean, all last year, like even all the hours I put in my stream, that's how I'm looking at it. It was a hobby. It was like, can I do this long term? And obviously I burnt out too. There's a part of my break has been burned out. But I know like once I start, there's got to be a level of consistency that I was having. But now I understand also, like, I can't be doing 5 12-hour streams in a week. Like that's where I was messing up a lot, even though like the numbers were going up, all that. But it was like, to attack it this coming time, or like when, you know, I keep saying like by my birthday, April is like when go time starts, like for Blackout at least. It's like I'm taking, like, whoever wants to make content, we're making content, but it's going to be as serious as we were before, and even more, and it has to be schedulized. Like, and I think that's why, like, if we're working on each other's channels as well, which, you know, we're going to, like, I think that would help us just with that burnout. If you at least one video a week is coming from me, so you don't have to worry about a certain day. That's one less day where you could just fuck around and do whatever.
Yeah, yeah. No, and again, like I said, I'm investing in this. I bought equipment. I bought those. See, there's 2 microphones behind me. 2.
Yeah.
There they are. I bought some more microphones. I said, you know what? Let me invest some money in this and really put forth the effort. So I am excited for it. And you're right. If I have some support, or I have some things that I know are coming from you or from other content creators, the more the merrier, right? The better. But again, I'm gonna treat it as a job. I'm gonna commit the time and making sure that I'm putting that shit together. Now, I don't want to get away from some of the people in the chat. So
Yeah,
you got Kate here says 2023 is the year.
I think so.
Gabe came in. Your favorite Jehovah's Witness is here.
I was already here, dude.
Kate said, check out I guess billboards.com for cheap and effective marketing. Okay.
I'm gonna just peep that.
Yeah, for sure. And Gabe says, love to hear it. So yeah, I just want to make sure we don't miss those guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, man. I mean, the channel's doing, again, doing really well. I'm really excited. This week I released Shaolin Soccer, which got blocked. It got banned and blocked, and then it got unblocked. So, no, I mean, it's a typical thing in all the See, the thing is, I don't mind it getting blocked because I know what I'm doing. Like, I know why it gets blocked. I know why the copyright issues are there. So I don't get pissed about it. I just feel like some things are easier to fix than others, right? Like, so this one was weird because I put it on YouTube the night before. This is what I've been doing nowadays. I put it on the night before. I leave it unlisted. I let the copyright, bots have at it throughout the night. In the morning, when I check in, most of the time they're blank. Everything is fine. Copyright is fine. Same thing happened with this one. I left it in overnight. Woke up the next morning. Everything was great. Released it. Did my hits, and probably midday, 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, boom, banned. And so I was like, shit. But it is what it is, man. Like, I wasn't stressed. There's a method to fix it. I fixed it and it got resolved, and that's it. So before that would have pissed me off for a week, man, because it's a lot of work. Yeah. It's a lot of work. But at the same time, my previous video, which I had launched 7 days before, 1,000 views. This one is on 300. Like they're all climbing. They're all climbing. And what I'm finding is, and this is where I'm going to focus some of my videos, I'm going back to my, my Set It Offs, my Menace to Society. Those videos are performing really well. What's the dancing one that I just did?
You got served?
You got served. All of those are close to 1,000, and they are slowly like climbing. So I'm starting to see where I can start to grab video types that I like and go, okay, I'll revisit that one and revisit this one. So it's fun. Let's see. Cade's got some more stuff for you. He says you give them a graphic and they put it in an electronic billboard that rotates every 3 minutes or so.
Oh, check that out for sure.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that information, man, for sure. So yeah, Be Kind Rewind podcast on Aladdin is out. Shaolin Soccer is out. Those are relatively new. Got some shorts that are out there. That's good. And then this week I'm working on releasing From Russia with Love, which is another 007 movie. So again, I'm excited, and I'm recording one tomorrow. So tomorrow the grind starts again. I have another recording session, and I'll try to book another Be Kind Rewind with somebody. So very, very excited. A lot of things happening for sure. In your neck of the woods, though, you've got an upcoming thing, right? You have some visitors coming.
Oh, the flock.
The flock is
the
coming.
Flock and Roman 2 Raw. Well, and Ace as well. All 3 of them are coming. Pablito lives out here, so we're gonna link up with them. He thinks I'm an AI. He doesn't think I'm a real human being. He hasn't seen me yet. Every day he hits me up, I'm like, bro, every day you hit me up, I'm working. Like, he hits me up like, what are you doing tonight? Working, bro. I sent him a picture so he knows I'm not lying.
Oh my God.
But we outside for real. I mean, we already got when Bird lands, because Bird's birthday is the 12th. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna announce it now. Bird will be with us next week in a live studio session. He's like, I'm the first person that's gonna be in both studios live. So
That'd be
we got
great.
we got a rare appearance from Bird. I got to figure out how I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna set it up. I think I'm gonna set up where we're chilling in the couch because I have a couch downstairs and it's like big enough area. So I'll set up the whole setup and face the camera towards the couch. So like, we're all like just hopping in, talking shit, probably gaming a little bit. So it's gonna be a good time.
It is. It is.
When Bird lands, we're going to the Nuggets versus Phoenix Suns game, so it's gonna be dope to go to an NBA game. We got Chicas.
Oh shit!
We're going with
awesome.
Tangeray. Yeah, we're going with Tangeray. Shout out Tangeray. Bird's really keen on them. And then I think we're doing like a comedy thing, like an open mic style comedy thing on Friday. And then I'm sure there's gonna be some bevs indulging.
Some shenanigans.
Yeah, Bird told me today, he said, I want to wake up drunker than I was yesterday. And I said, damn, bro.
Oh, that's hard. That's hard.
Well, what he doesn't know is, and what they don't know is the elevation is going to fuck them up 100% because they literally sell half beers out here, half alcohol percentage because
really?
Yeah, the altitude fucks you up. Like you get drunk faster. So, hey, he's going to find out.
Let's see. Birdie says all I gotta say is Denver gonna be a fucking movie on Francis Ford Coppola level of greatness.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. I had to like this whole week. I was like, it's gonna be like the calm before the storm. And I went out last night and I was like, I kind of regretted it this morning because I was like, I gotta save all my drinking energy for this week because it's gonna be a time, man. I mean, there's a lot of things to do. I know we're gonna do like probably go to the mountains, you know what I mean? Hit downtown Denver. There's a lot of stuff to do, so it'll be a good time, man. I hope we get some content out of it though.
You guys should take a camera everywhere you go, a GoPro, something, man.
Something, like even our phones, yeah.
Yeah, just constantly record it. You can put something together for sure.
Yeah. Go live in the middle of the street, have Gabe answer. I should buy a little mini microphone, actually.
Yeah. Just be interviewing people on the streets. Hey, Blackout Live here on the streets. You know what? You know what show I used to love that's like that was Insomniac. Do you remember that show?
Nope.
With David Tell. Look it up on YouTube. The dude would go out at he'd start his night about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and he'd stay up all night long, and he'd just go do all the crazy nightlife shit. Not just clubs. Like he would go like what's a shitty ass, like he would be drinking all night. So he starts at the bar, he's drinking, and then he'd go to like a meat packing plant, and he'd be like talking to the guy all drunk. He's like, so what do you do? Right? So, and then this one time he went to a studio. He went to a studio where they dub and do voiceovers for porn. And I thought that was the funniest freaking episode because they're like, "Hey, do you want to do it?" And again, he's 3 sheets to the wind. He's drinking like crazy.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Yeah, I'll do it." And he's like, "Oh yeah, So it's fun shit. But the interviews were so interesting because it was just a different and for me who doesn't go out that late and doesn't do late shit, I was fascinated. I was like, "Oh, that's what fucking happens after midnight." Yeah, man, check out that show, man. It's probably on YouTube somewhere. Gabe says here he's going to be live on Twitch periodically throughout his trip, so stay tuned. Okay,
we're gonna see.
Yeah,
he always goes live for like 2 minutes and then gets off.
And and I jump in, I'm like, oh, Gabe's on, let me see what he's doing. And then he's like eating a chicken wing or something, and he turns it off.
Yo, I popped into that same street.
That's what I'm saying. Don't notify you're live unless you're doing some good shit. Because I'll jump on.
I at least eat more than one wing.
Right. He's like eating a wing, he's not even looking at the camera, and then it just turns off. And I'm like, what was that? Yeah. I think he was at Duffy's. I think I remember him at Duffy's.
He was green. He's a green.
Speaking of Duffy's, of which Big Papi Angie's got a job, so he's working right now. He's working till like midnight or something. He's at the bowling alley of a Super Play. Oh shit. So I don't think he's listening or watching because he's supposed to be working. But if you're out late, you're at Super Play, give him a shout. Yeah, man, he got a job, man. He's like, man, he's he wants his own money. He wants his own thing. So
I
you gotta have
respect
a
it.
job. Yeah, I respect that too, man. Because I try to spoil my kids, man. But at the same time, they know money's
Is
hard.
this
Like
his
money's
first
hard to
job?
come by. No, he's had a bunch of jobs. Like he had jobs since his like sophomore or junior year. He's been working
Mm,
on and off in different jobs. So like I'm proud of the guy because he has a work ethic. So,
nice.
but what he's doing though, and I'm so proud of this. What he's doing, he changed his major. He's going to do multimedia communications and photography and visual.
For
So he
real?
changed completely. He's going to do this for real. Like he's going to school to do that type of work. That's what his passion is. He's following it, which I'm super proud of that. But man, the shit he's putting together and he's thinking of a short film he wants to do. He's thinking of content he wants to put out. And he's not even thinking about content in the sense of how do I grow a channel. He's just thinking of content of creativity. Like he's just throwing consciousness out there and like, this is what I want to fucking do. I'm shocked that that's coming from somebody who came from my loins, right? Because I don't know that I have that kind of creativity, but this kid, he is grinding on, like he is working on everything. And like, so again, he will not put that shit out there yet. He's like you, like he wants to methodically like look at it the way he wants it to look and before he releases it. But man, I am super proud that he made the decision. But the shit that he's got sitting in behind the scenes that he's just kind of tinkering with, I'm fucking impressed, man. I don't know if you saw his photo shoot that he did that on Instagram where he's got the glasses and he's got himself in like different. Yeah. I was like, dude, can you do that for me? And my wife being a smartass that she is, she's like, it's because he has actual hair and he's gonna look good in those pictures. You're not gonna look that good. And I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah, I like to be brought down to reality. So, but
Why does everybody do that to you, dude?
Because I'm a dreamer, man. People like to kill dreams.
It's sad. Oh, I'm sorry you got stuck with me. I think about it. Out of everybody a black guy, I'm like the meanest to you. I don't know why I do it, but it's like everybody loves Llama, and I'm like, hey, Llama, you're not different from us.
Nah, it's the dynamic that honestly works.
Yeah.
If you and I were the same person, it would be fucking boring, right? But like, and it keeps me on my toes, right?
Yeah.
And what I love is that there is no it's the Llama show. We're not no, it's fucking he fucked up on something. He said something stupid. We're gonna call him out on it on the show. And it's great, man. You know what? I have a good time with it. So trust me.
Bird brought up the roast episode. He said that clip of you roasting him was still gold to this day. And I'm like, bro, one of the funniest moments, but also so rude. Stuffy's is a great place.
Yes, Stuffy's is a great place. But you know what it is that it was funny. It was funny, and comedy is comedy. It was funny. It was true. It was true because of my age, and you get to a point where you go, I want to do, and you know what? And this is a great fucking discussion because I don't know if you saw my tweet. I'm telling you, man, this is crazy. I'm like looking for fucking places to buy to build a movie theater.
Oh, I did see that.
Crazy am I? Guys get sports cars when midlife crisis. They get sports cars and get a hot new girlfriend. I go and decide I want to do some crazy ass shit, like be on a YouTube channel and go build movie theaters. Like I that's just been my midlife crisis.
So did you find like how to do it?
I did. It's like one of those things where if you don't find the right opportunity, it shouldn't. It's hard to do.
Yeah.
But not impossible, right? The biggest issue I have, right, is not the money, because like money you can get investors, you can do a bunch of shit. It's just like, do I really want to put forth that much effort to start something up like that? Is it a passion project? Is it true? So I'm doing actual research for sure. Like if there's an opportunity, I may do it. But at the same time, realistically, I'm like, we'll see. But trust me, like when those wheels get going, if I can find that niche, if I can find that piece of property, if I can find that investment, I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. Just like that's what happened with the gym. Like we were in a perfect opportunity where I can just try to put some money in. But my problem at that time was I didn't devote the time to it.
Yeah.
And I'm honest about it.
We should talk about that one day. I've always wanted to like ask you and like, because from my perspective, like I knew you guys were you guys owned it, and I was just like, but I mean, I was just training there. You know, I never thought, I mean, obviously I didn't know we were going to be friends or anything in the future, but now like just talking, like being your friend, I want to be like, damn, I wonder what I actually thought about this a couple times. It's like, wonder what their thought process was, like getting the gym, and like what were like the upsides and downsides of it and all that, because essentially it's what we're doing now. Like we're starting businesses, and like, that's the thing. Like, again, to what I was talking about earlier, and just like, you know, new year, you start thinking about stuff. Plus, like where I am in school, like I'm like, I really need to start multiple streams of income. Like I was even thinking about like the job I work at now is like a mini Duffy's. I always say it's like a family owned Duffy's, and I look at them like, bro, why not a Blackout Sports and Grill? Like just me and Justin alone, the knowledge behind like running a kitchen and being in the kitchen, we can make some shit like that happen, and not only that, but make it where it's like an environment where people could come drink, eat, you know what I mean, have a good time, and even like build like a mini stage where we could do live podcasts every so often out of there, and even do open mics and different things creatively that will benefit the YouTube side. And it's almost like it will be, you know, at least, you know, I've always been that kind of like dreamer too. Like honestly, like everything. I mean, you hear how I talk about things. I'm like so grandiose with shit. I'm even having like a studio set up. I want to have an area for all of us to do that. So I'm like, bro, like we have to, well, obviously for me, I have to like start laying one thing at a time, but I have so many ideas that can stem from just this YouTube channel or the streaming or content itself. So yeah, with the movie theater, I think it's a great idea, bro. And I don't think you should shy away from it because you're feeling it for a reason, man. I don't think gut feelings ever are wrong, you know?
No, and you know what it is? So
unless
again,
Dana White.
Yeah, we got to talk about 42 minutes. We talk about Dana. But no, we'll cap this off. We'll talk about that right now. But no, what I looked at, because I looked at, okay, if I buy a franchise or if I buy an existing theater or, you know, that type of shit. And then I really thought about like an entertainment complex. Like, okay, what if I can build, again, not a large space, not a huge, ginormous space, but enough space for 2 theaters showing 2 movies, a bar and grill type area, and arcade. Like that's like a hey, I'm going to hang out. I can go watch a movie and go get some drinks and some, you know, some chicken wings, or I can go to the fucking arcade right there. And like, to me, that's like optimal hangout. And then, you know, you can have people come in, you can have events, you can have, you know, things that are happening at that location like that. So that's how I went from big scale, like, oh, I'd like to buy the fucking AMC on the corner, to wait a second, that's too big. I want to make my own thing, and here's how I would do it. So now it's a matter of, if I can find decent property because I'm waiting for the market to crash. It's going to fucking crash. That's my prediction. I'm saying it here first. When the real estate market crashes, I pick up a really good piece of property. I'll put some investment money into it. I'll do anything once, man. And you know why? Because I'm going to fucking live. And I'll tell you, that's how the gym happened.
Yeah.
I believe in people's dreams. And so when somebody tells me, hey, I got this opportunity, again, it's not always financially smart, but hey, I got this opportunity. I think we can do it. And if I feel I can do something, I go, let's try it. Let's go for it. Yeah. You know, and that's how the gym, and we do have, actually, there's a lot to unpack on that gym discussion. So if you want to do a side podcast on that, or an interview on that, we can talk about that, because that's actually a pretty good subject. But yeah, man, again, dream big. That's my thing. Dream big. Fucking do work, because at the end of this, there's only one life, right? And have you done everything you possibly can? You're going to fucking regret things. You go, oh, I could have done this. I could have said that. I could have been there. Or you're going to fucking be a doer and say, okay, I'm going to try. And yeah, whether or not I make it or don't, I'm going to fucking live and say, you know what? I fucking tried. And if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. And money is, listen, man, money is money. You can't take it with you. And yes, I'd like to accumulate a lot of it for my family and my fortune, right? But fuck it, like I'm gonna live, man. I'm gonna enjoy this life for sure. So,
Yeah.
Kay's got a good point here. Is real estate and used cars are gonna crash big for sure, for sure. I talked to a guy in the used car space.
Yeah.
He's like, we already scaled back inventory. Carvana and this other place they're gonna die quickly. I was like, shit, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that tip, man.
Perfect time because I'm building my one thing that I'm happy that I've done is like I've gotten my credit up a significant amount. And I've actually been focusing on like trying to build that. And I think like you said, like when the real estate crash, I think it's gonna put me in a good position to get like a nice place as my first home. And that would be like the optimal thing for the studio space that I'm talking about, But
yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, listen, across the way from where I used to live, like across were the studios for Bang Bros. They were just bought a bunch of houses and they were there in Hollywood. And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, man, they had a dream. Anyway, so yeah, good discussion on that for sure. But let's talk about so controversy, right? We're going to talk about Dana White and his wife, not his mom, his wife.
Yeah, I don't know. I said his mom.
Hey man, you got you can dish it out. I'm gonna give it to you too.
Yeah, I don't know why he said mom. I thought about it after I said mom, huh? And then you said something. He's like, yeah, he hit his wife, and I said, yeah. Or I was like, yeah, not his mom.
It's fine. So okay. So again, I don't know. I want to play this clip. I don't know if we'll play the whole clip, but it's about 4 minutes. But it's they're just recapping what happened. So we'll pause it in different spots here real quick. But let's just get a sense of what the reporting was, at least for this point. So let's see. Put this up here. And let's
New Year's Eve 2023 in Mexico, UFC President Dana White and his wife Anne brought it all in, but the celebration became physical. The video, obtained and published by TMZ, shows White grabbing his wife's wrist as she tries to walk away and Anne slapping him. Then White open hand slaps his significant other not just once, but twice. It all went down.
So again, that's the video. That's the evidence there that was obtained. I mean, listen, your opinion may differ from mine, right? I would say nobody should be putting their hands on anybody unless you expect to get hit back, right? Now, I'm not saying hit the woman. I'm just saying in general, my mindset is, you hit me, I will defend. I will defend and make myself, safe. Having said that, it's one of those things where there's just a cultural norm, at least in my brain, that you don't hit women. You don't hit the women or anyone who's defenseless or who cannot defend themselves. You have to be able to rise above that. And I know it's hard. I'm not saying that I'm a saint and it's easy and everybody's, perfect. I just kind of think you have to understand that's a thing ingrained in the brain.
Yeah.
Now add alcohol to the mix, add partying, add, where you're not making good decisions and you get this result. So I don't know. What did you think of the video that you saw or had been seeing?
It's weird. It's weird because I'm of the same ilk. Like you don't hit women. Oh, my screen blacked out. Give me a second.
All right, no problem. You're still on.
Yeah, but you don't hit women. It's just, to me, it's hypocritical for Dana because there's multiple clips. I mean, there's been, and that's one. I don't know. This whole situation is weird for me. Like as a UFC fan, like I love Dana, but obviously this is wrong, right? He should be reprimanded in some way, but from the looks of it, he's not going to get reprimanded at all. The TMZ clip where he's apologized, because that's how this gets released, right? Like on TMZ, right. They're like, "Hey, Dana, you had too much to drink, right? Like it must be hard to remember." Like they were like pulling him out of the hole, even though Dana did take accountability for it. He said it was wrong. He said he shouldn't have done it. Cool, but the way the media is handling it, it's kind of getting swept under the rug. They were saying like they were already gonna release it late, just because by the next day it'll get swept under. There'll probably be something else that will come and people will forget about it. And then the football thing happened. The Bengals and I forgot the team. Was it the Rams or something? But no, it was the Bill. Yeah, it was the Bills. And the guy passes out, and they released it after that happened. So it was almost like they were really trying to like bury the story. Like they were definitely doing their like journalistic quote unquote duties, like putting it out there. They didn't hide it or anything, but they I think they softened the blow, man. And it's bad. It's a bad look on the UFC because you got, multiple people. John Jones, even the ex-football player, heavyweight Greg Hardy. There's multiple people that have. Even I think Chuck. What's his name? Chuck Liddell. I even believe he had some trouble with like domestic violence. So it's like, it's almost like it's weird because it's almost like people like expect it from, cage fighters, and it's a bad thing. And I think like this situation, and I think you brought up a good point too about ESPN. Like, think about it, ESPN. If this was another athlete, if this was like a fucking basketball player or a football player or a freaking baseball player, and they got caught live on New Year's Eve, they don't care how many drinks you had. They're dragging you. They're dragging. And I think it also has to do. He's owner. He's a part owner of the UFC. Well, owner of the UFC. So I think like that, and he's the face. So it's like the face of the company, and then you got ESPN with the backing on the UFC, and they got a crazy deal. So like this whole next year, like they're and then another thing, this guy's starting a freaking Dana White's slap series. So it's like how and TBS was supposed to pick it up. So it's like, is TBS gonna still pick up the slap series after he's on camera against slapping them?
And here's the thing, right? And this is what I'm saying. Like the issue is, if this were an NBA player, a black NBA player, an NFL. Look at what happened in the elevator footage, right, of different celebrities kind of getting out of hand. Like that shit gets blown up, and it's all over the coverage. ESPN wouldn't shut up about a player beating his wife, right? They would not. Like, it was wall-to-wall coverage. It was on PTI. It was on whatever disputed fucking show they have. That's what they would show. Dana White makes the blurb, and then that's it. But they were lucky. And again, I'm not saying that the guy's injury is anything that you want to, like celebrate, right? But I'm just saying they're lucky that another story came fast enough to get it out of the ether, right? Like, it was like, fuck it. Like, look at this guy. He's down. We're all celebrating this. We're all, praying for this guy.
Yeah.
But the bias is there. Now, I read some things, and I watched. I love Dan Le Batard. I don't know if you ever watched his show.
Yeah.
He has the best, I think, in my opinion, some of the best views, because he's pretty balanced about the media coverage, and he always asks weird questions, but it's always like to twist the narrative a little bit. Like, what are you seeing there? Like, he said it. Like, he, and a lot of the guys on his show were like, kind of like, why are we getting into how it's being covered versus what he actually did? And he's like, well, because that's the story. Like, we know what he did. There's indisputable, evidence. He came out and said it, but how is ESPN handling this, who has a stake or partnership in the UFC, who has money riding on pay-per-views and UFC shows and all this stuff? How is that being picked up? And I thought that was fascinating. I was like, man, I didn't even think of that. But but again, man, it's pretty clear that Dana White has a stranglehold on some media people. So
they always talk about like the Dana White privilege for like certain fighters, like Conor, like doing the Habib stuff. Even Habib himself, like any other fighter jumps out and starts fighting people in the crowd, they're probably, and they're not at that level, they're getting kicked out or they're getting reprimanded somehow. And with this situation, it just seems like he's got Dana White privilege right now. Like, again, he apologized. Cool. Like, He honestly, you got to respect that he comes out and like did an interview. Most people would hide from it. You kind of, well, you got to play devil's advocate. You kind of got to give him the respect. But I mean, at the end of the day, you hit your wife, like,
Yeah.
and even like there's like a bunch of like media, like MMA media in general, asking that question. I was like, why? He's like, we don't want, like, I forgot who the guy's Luke something, Luke Rock, not Luke Rockhold, his fighter. Somebody in the MMA media was just like, we're not calling for Dana's job. We're not saying, hey, fire this guy. We just want to see some accountability for it. On ESPN's part, on the UFC's part, they haven't even made a post about it or even like anything, an apology, a statement, nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of weird. I mean,
yeah.
There's really nothing you could do though. Like, I mean, we can say it's wrong. We know it's wrong. I know he feels like it's wrong, but
listen, I think he knows he is wrong. And the question could be like, does this happen often? You could probe in that, but I believe, honestly, that's his business. That's personal.
Yeah.
You got caught doing bad shit. You got to pay for it. You got to answer for it, and you got to pay the piper. Yeah. You can clearly see the bias in ESPN, in the entities that have interest in the UFC. You can clearly see they're trying their best to tiptoe. Like you said, the TMZ thing. Oh, they're giving them the excuse. Oh, you had too much to drink and you hit your wife. Like, what's going on there?
Oh, bro. Like, I mean, like, I already don't like TMZ. Like, I don't like the personalities on TMZ because you can see it's always like some kind of biased. It's like if they want to say you're wrong, they're going to push that narrative. They want to say you're okay, they're going to push that narrative. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things out of the office. I mean, look at think about it. I mean, yeah, what Kanye said about slavery was a choice was wrong. I would argue it's just as wrong as hitting a woman. But look at the difference of coverage on that.
Exactly.
And then when you actually listen to the questions that they're asked, they were kind of like not being biased, but they were like tiptoeing around it a little bit. And then you had like this dude named Van Lathan who like actually called Kanye out about it, and that's what blew up the story. In this situation, it's like there's no me over there. Like, well, wait, like, yeah, a lot of drink, but you hit your wife. Like, the drinking has nothing to do with it. They're like feeding him like, this is how we're gonna help you get out of it. And to me, that's the disgusting part, because it's like, bro, like, he did something wrong. He acknowledges he does something wrong. Like, don't treat him like a baby or like try to soften it because you probably have relationships with him and you want to keep that relationship alive.
Yeah. And listen, in the world that we live in now, the attention span is very short. Yeah. So the news cycle can make or break you. Like if they really want you out, they'll continue to run the story. They'll continue to talk about you. And as long as you're still there, people will feel the pressure, advertisers, whatever, and they'll do that. But when you brush it off or you have something else significant happen and you don't bring it back, huge deal. So again, it just the way it was handled was bad. Now, Kate had a point a little bit ago when we were talking about hitting a woman and putting your hands on other people. So I thought that was common standpoint. I feel the same as you too. But I live in Tennessee and in Missouri, and it's actually common for people to turn a blind eye to men hitting women. So, and then Bertie wanted to correct you here. It says that Chuck never hit no bitch. It was Tito. Oh yeah, Tito did have the. Now, the one cool thing about this the reason I grabbed this particular video is it does give you, I think, what you were talking about, which is the breakdown of all UFC's issues with domestic violence. And so let me see if it comes up here real quick, and then because they make it a point.
To this very day remains the old no excuse. Here's a quick question. Why state it then? The question now turns to the old adage. If they do it in public, what happens in private? White would say, it's never happened before. It's the first time it's ever happened. People are going to say what they're going to say. It is what it is. And whatever people do say, it's deserved. I deserve it. On TMZ, which has been a safe haven for White, he told the outlet, I'm in Cabo, Mexico for the holidays with my family, and my wife and I were out with family on New Year's Eve, and unfortunately, that's what happened. White now joins Chuck Liddell, Luis Pena, John Jones, Mike Perry, War Machine, light heavyweight Thiago Silva, NFL player turned MMA fighter Greg Hardy, and many more on the list of domestic abusers in the sport. In 2015, HBO's Real Sports went over a huge problem, and I know there are many, but a huge problem in Dana White's organization. Public records research done by the show found that per 100,000 US men, there was a domestic violence arrest rate of 360. In that same sample, HBO Real Sports found 750 MMA fighters and 210 NFL players. There was no comparison listed between UFC fighters and NFL players, however. That was occurring and published in 2015.
So, they're bringing up just the problem in his sport, in the organization that he runs. So again, you're more in tune with the UFC and the fighters, and these stories. I am not, but again, I don't want to feed into someone going after the UFC. Like, this is kind of, I think, opportunistic to say, okay, he had this issue, now you're going to have issue with, like, who, I don't know what actions were taken, if there were any taken before, or what the suspensions were. I don't know any of that, but that's where I kind of call a little bit of bullshit on this journalist who kind of takes the story and says, oh, look, he did this, and look at all the issues they've had. They're facts, but I don't know more to it. So I won't say that, it's a completely, like, fucking Wild West over there. But I mean, what do you think of that? Like, when you see a report like that, it kind of shows the history.
I mean, you kind of know it though. Like, watching the sport, you hear about this like every so often. So again, they had Greg Hardy. Like, I mean, one Ariel Helwani brought this up, but he said Greg Hardy was on the same card as, I forgot the female's her name, but she just had recently gone through like domestic abuse leading up to that fight. I think it was like a couple months beforehand, and they put Greg Hardy on the same card, who was accused and I think charged with
convicted, right?
Yeah, I think so. They put him on the same card, and it's almost like, a lot of people at that time were like, yo, that's very tone deaf of the UFC to like not even consider, or even like ESPN, because they were on ESPN at the time. Like, and it was the first ESPN card. Like the first card that they did. So it's like, I don't know. Like, do they just like turn a blind eye? I don't know. It's a weird thing when you put it like that, when you put the numbers to it.
Yeah, and like I said, this is how I consume news, right? Is like, I look at something and I go, okay, that makes sense. I understand what that means. But why is it necessarily a connection, right? Is it necessarily that, I don't think Dana White goes out promoting, hey guys, go hit your wives, right? That's what you're kind of saying in your piece. What I'm saying is there's obviously a problem in the sport. That's what I'm seeing, right? Now, whether or not he's addressed it properly or not, I don't know that. But again, the main issue is it's wrong. You shouldn't do it. That's clear. But my main issue is Dana White is getting preferential treatment. He is being able to do this with not a lot of repercussions. I have not seen, heard, read of sponsors pulling out, of the threats of a boycott from the fans. Right. I haven't heard anything.
I think that's the MMA fan base, though. Because if this was, women's fighting only, like if it was just that, and then a situation of like the president of the league hitting a woman, I think more fighters would be more vocal about it. I think the fan base itself would be a little bit more vocal, but I think just MMA in general is like, we've seen it so many times, and it's like, all right, well, you kind of, it is again brushing it under the rug and letting it be what it is. And I think, I don't know. If the fans aren't gonna like put any pressure on ESPN or the UFC, nothing's gonna happen. Which I don't know.
Yeah. Now, Birdie asked a pretty good question: should fighters be suspended or punished for breaking the law? Now, here is again my practical brain when it comes to break. When you say breaking the law, look, I could walk out my house today, go to the corner store and be arrested for whatever it is I'm charged with. Whether or not I'm guilty or that's different. So I can be arrested for I could be mistaken identity. They say, look, you look like the guy who robbed a bank. And now I'm on the news, local Llama, from Port St. Lucie is a bank robber. Like, cancel his YouTube channel, don't support his shit. I don't believe in that. I believe, like, look, if you are tried, convicted, and are proven guilty, yes, suspended, punch. And listen, it's hard. It's a hard thing to manage. Like, I get picked up tomorrow. Like here's what happened. Here's the reality, right? I'm not a celebrity, and I'm not in any kind of, high-powered sport. Any job that I have, and this is what sucks about our society, any job that I have, if this happened, if I walked out today, got arrested because of mistaken identity for whatever reason, for being a bank robber, for violent assault, whatever, they just pegged me as the guy, I lose my job immediately without the benefit of getting the courts, to review my case and being exonerated of the charges. So that's where, again, I have a hard time with this. Yes, something should be done while you investigate the matter. I believe that you should suspend while you try to look into it. But at the same time, if it's going to be some time, I don't know. It's hard. I wouldn't pretend to know the answer. Otherwise, I'd be making lots of money. I don't know what you think about that. Like should they suspend fighters if they're breaking the law, or do they have to be proven guilty, or what's your thought?
I don't know. I mean, Gervonta Davis had something come out about the same topic. Like 2-3 weeks ago, and then he fought last night still. So it's like, I don't know.
It's hard. It's
hard because as a fan, it's like, as a fan of the UFC, I'm like, no, it's an outside thing. Like that's what my gut wants to say, but it's like, maybe like if they're convicted or if it's something like terrible, then yeah, like suspend them maybe. But I don't know. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. Like, what are you gonna do? Because one, you can't investigate because you see the proof. There's no investigating. He hit her.
This is different.
Yeah. Two, like, what really can he do? Like, suspend him and then he just doesn't go to Brazil, or the next couple fight cards. He's already been taking certain like media obligations off in terms of fighting or not going to actual fights. So like, I don't know. What Bird say?
Birdie says here is a John Jones fan as long as they can make it to the fight. Fuck what they do in their personal life. It is what it is. It's just what it is, man. It's like when you're in the court of public opinion, when you're in the limelight, when you're in a celebrity, when you're in a high level position like that, image is something that you have to like, again.
Yeah, but see, for like Jimmy's point, like Jimmy just loves John Jones. Like John Jones done a lot of wild shit that honestly, like if he wasn't John Jones, the UFC would have got rid of that fighter. If all the shit that John Jones had, it's not worth having that fighter on the roster. But because he is John Jones, and he's the greatest fighter of our generation, like you kind of have to, again, turn the blind eye. That's just the sport. But that doesn't mean just because he's a piece of shit. Yeah, he might not be able to lose his job because of it. But there's times where it's like, bro, like the shit that happened with his wife and kid, like the kid is the one that called the cops. So whatever was happening in that shit was pretty fucking bad. Like,
yeah,
you're
sure.
almost like enabling him. So it's like it's a hard thing because again, I want to see John Jones fight. Like, don't get me wrong, but he's still a piece of shit. And like, do you just keep rewarding bad behavior? I don't know.
Well, and here's the thing, right? Here's how I look at things too. Like, I respect Birdie's position on it because it's his position to have. If he wants to support a fighter, a celebrity, whoever that's done some bad shit and he doesn't care, that's his right to do that. That's fine. I can take my money, right, and do something else with it. I may not support UFC. I may, whatever. But again, I feel like everyone has that right to do that. Like I'm not in the world where I think everything should be canceled. I think, look, companies have an obligation to advertisers and sponsors, and they will take an action that they feel is necessary. Whether that's canceling the guy, whether that's removing their endorsement, that's their call. That's their right. It's a business call that they make at the end of the day. Same thing with as a fan. I'm not going to tell another fan what they should think about an athlete. I know what I think. I wouldn't support it, and I don't want to see that guy. But I respect Birdie for having that opinion, and he can have that opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I look at things. But again, that's just kind of again, this is my perspective on things. I'm always open-minded to things, and that's why I feel like having these types of discussions is good. Funsky just showed up, and he's just said, "Hey, yo," but he did comment because Dana White slapping his wife. What the fuck's going on with the UFC? So yeah, that's what we've been talking about Funsky for a little bit, and so I don't know. Again, we're in a knee-jerk society where things are immediate and people make quick decisions, and that is that's the world we live in today.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because also, as like, again, we spent a whole 45 minutes talking about our future of broadcasting and being content creators, and like, we're gonna do something, God forbid it's like terrible, but there's gonna be something in both our careers or anybody in Blackout's career that like people aren't gonna like, whether it's, I don't know, I don't want to put no bad shit out there, but I'm just saying, like, something's gonna happen where people are gonna be like, hey, we don't fuck with this guy or whatever. And I'm sure from that perspective, you got to look at it like, I don't want that. I don't want to lose my job or my channel because I did something wrong or made a bad mistake, like. So from that perspective, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, just don't hit your wife, dude. No.
Right. Yeah.
It's not a public. No, I'm kidding. Okay.
Oh.
That's a birdie. That's a birdie.
That is a birdie for sure. Derpy just joined us. What's up, Derpy? How are you, sir? Yeah, I mean, listen, don't hit your wife. That's clear.
Yeah.
But like I said, what I give people and what I say on this show is my perspective on things. Whether you agree, you or anybody, right, agrees with it or not, I respect that. I respect that tremendously. Now, I will tell you my own personal experience with the court of public opinion, right, and being afraid is that I had I had a job that I felt could have been in jeopardy if I am recognized in, for my normal, because again, different jobs have different thresholds of what they're willing to accept. And because I live in Florida, a right to work state, they can fire me for anything. Right. So again, it's one of those things where I understand that anxiety and that, that whole thing about living in the public eye. Again, I'm not in the public, I'm not a celebrity, but I'm on YouTube and I have, documented archival footage of things I've said and things that I do. And so I understand that at any point it can be used against me. So for me, I cultivate, at least until this becomes a full-time thing. And even then, I cultivate a certain image. I will mind my words carefully. I will make sure that I'm on the up and up on things, because now again, if I don't want to give my opinion on something, I won't. But if you ask me and I give it to you, my opinion is an honest opinion, So,
and I think that's why I like being the way I am, or like even like how our channel or like my streams would be like the wild version, because you're gonna hear us raw and you're gonna see how we really are. And like, if you like it, you like it. You don't like. But we're always gonna be us. And I think, like people just, there's gonna be a point where I say something and they're not gonna like it, like Aladdin's maid or something. And like, I got to deal with whatever backlash comes from it and learn how to navigate through that. But I'm never gonna not say or feel or express my actual feelings, especially on our platforms. Because to me, that you got to be like as authentic as possible. Like, I understand your take on it, and it's not like you ever change who you are ever. You're always the same person. I mean, you might get a little bit more, you'll curse more on my stream or whatever off your channel, but you're never changing. Like, you're not like Birdie and then the Llama on your show. You know what I mean? And then talking like Birdie off your show. And that's the thing. Like, that's when I think people get like the most like backlash. It's not even on the topic of like Dana White anymore. Just in general, like doing this again. But going back to our conversation, it's just, people give you backlash because they view you a certain way. That's why like Bill Cosby, like, he did clean comedy and was like the family man, and then it turns out he's doing all that shit. So it's like you portray yourself one way, but behind closed doors you're a piece of shit, And I think that's what gets people mostly in trouble.
Yeah, I mean, Bob Saget had the same issue. He was a dirty comic for a long time, and he had that wholesome TV show, and he had to uphold an image, and so he stopped doing his brand of comedy until such time as he felt. And then he was the host of America's Funniest Home Videos, so he was constantly in a family environment. So he had to kind of stray away from what he was, and then eventually he did a couple movies and things, and they were like, look, this guy is raunchy as shit, like let him be himself. I don't know anything about this, but Funsky mentioned this. I don't know if you know anything about this. It says, heard Bellator is on the market, right? Is that true?
No, well, no.
Have you?
I think he's saying, all of them actually. Maybe. I read it as like Bellator was trying to buy the Eagle Fighting Championships, which is Habib's like a promotion.
Yeah,
I can see. I mean, and obviously, I think like Dubai is a huge market for MMA, especially like post pandemic. Like that's where some of the best events have been held. There's a clear like it helps the economy out there, I believe. So I can see that being something that, and I mean, they who got more money than those guys, dude.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's where all the money's coming from lately. Birdie, Birdie. What if she hits me first? Equal rights, equal fights. You heard. Again, that's Birdie's opinion. He's allowed to have that opinion. Ronda Rousey got beat by her husband while she was a champ. Did it really count? Oh my God! Stop it, Birdie. And then he says WWE is up for sale, which is big news.
I did see that.
I did see some Vince McMahon stuff coming up that he would be like in talks to probably sell the organization, but I don't know. I think listen, I think this is a great discussion. I think you had mentioned it in the text, it's a more mature discussion than we've had on this channel before.
Or at least a show.
Right.
But I think, I don't know. I would love talking about movies and stuff, but I also think like we'd be good at conversations like these because they're more real. And I know like early on, I feel like you were very much wanting to be the movie guy. So like it made more sense. But I think now as we evolve it with the show, like conversations like this are fun to have personally because we get like two different perspectives. And obviously we both agree on this one. So it's not like much feedback. But like if there was a world where like I thought completely different, like I think that would have also been like conducive of a good conversation for us.
Yeah, no, listen, I would tell you, I may have, I wouldn't say controversial viewpoints, but I have my own view of the world and things that I would love to share. But this platform, I don't know that a movie reaction channel is exactly the platform for it. But if discussions happen, they happen. Like this is the beauty of this show. And that's why I like how it's evolving is that, we take a very, very mature, very different discussion and we're having very good, serious opinions about it. And it's, I think, a very legit back and forth on it. Yes, we both agree, I think, on this one. But yeah, there's going to be times where we don't agree. And that's going to be the fun. That's going to be where the fun happens, where we can have a little bit of disagreements. Birdie's still talking about WWE over here. He says, Vince said that if I can't have it, none of you, he literally told Triple H to suck it. I don't think WWE gets sold without Triple H. I think Triple H is a key component to that. I think he's integral to that organization. So he's going to have a hand in it, even though Vince can pull the trigger. It doesn't happen without Triple H. Otherwise, you get another shitty WCW or something like that. So that's just my opinion on that, Birdie.
I don't have
what else? Oh yeah. Well, that's the WWE stuff is more my area, right? My area of expertise in Birdie's. But it's all good, man. So, all right, listen, man. So, are you guys gaming tonight? Are you guys on? Or what's happening tonight?
We're gonna game. We're gonna get some gaming in.
Get some gaming in. All right.
Llama.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. If you guys are there, I think I'll join you guys. But
we'll be there, brother.
Let's see. Funsky here says, I thought WWE already sold themselves to Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it kind of sold out to them. And again, that's another thing. Like, people are up in arms that WWE, showcases their product in a country known for, oppression and all these types of different, things and human rights violations. And listen, Some wrestlers don't make that trip because they have issues. Some people don't watch those pay-per-views and don't buy those pay-per-views, and that's fine. That's the consumer making a decision based on what the company is doing. And I think that's the way you should fucking do almost everything. Like, again, I may not agree with it, and I don't watch the Saudi Arabia shows because they're boring. Like, that's just my opinion. I really didn't know about the human rights violations, but I did read about them. But to me, that had nothing to do with it. Those shows just sucked. Oh, Jay Bird, John dropped 28 kills the other night.
I heard you were frying, dude.
Well, I was playing with Birdie, and we finally were playing something other than the ranked shit, or what's that, Warzone or whatever. We were playing regular maps, and I was like having fun. So yeah, that was kind of fun.
This guy's afraid of competition.
I am. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie at all. I actually been thinking about streaming though more of the gaming stuff, but I honestly, with the way that I set up my schedule, I'm like, you know what? I will only be gaming an hour or two here and there, and it's not going to be worth it to start that enterprise. So maybe later on down the road when I have more time. So if I have any more time. All right, man. So I think it's been a pretty damn good show tonight.
Yeah, I think it was as well.
Yeah, man. Again, the discussion was good. I think the chat was involved. We had a really good discussion. Oh my God, Birdie, what is he saying here? Llama was better than my other friends. Yeah, but Birdie was introducing me to all these people. He's like, oh, this is my friends, it's just for work and this and that. I was like, okay, like it was fun. It was fun. I didn't mind it.
Birdie said one of them quit.
Oh, they did. They did. I saw that. Nah, man. Like I said, it was fun, man. It's fun. So, anything before we go? Any plugs or anything you got going on?
No, just be ready for Birdie's appearance in next week's episode, man.
Okay, yeah. So we're gonna look forward to that. Birdie, since you're on and you're typing, man, send me another pic, man. Maybe when you guys get there, send me a pic of you guys there, and I can put it up on the promo. So
yeah, you gotta change my pic, by the way. That goes back to me saying I was fat. It was because of the freaking thumbnail. I was like, I gotta look at this every time. I'm not sharing this. I look fat.
So send me what you want. You and Birdie, send me the one you want. I will put it up.
This he's trying to sabotage me. He don't want me to get no girls from the show.
Well, I have to try to make myself look good. Yeah, for a while, I had your fucking GQ picture with your red hoodie. Ooh, that was a great picture, but I was like, man, this guy looks fucking great next to me. I look
photogenic.
I was like, let me put something a little bit more recent, and you were like, what would you change it up for?
I was having a great time with how it looked.
So send me the one you want, Birdie. Send me the one you want. I will put the promo together, and that's the picture I will use.
That's
if
crazy.
you don't send me anything, I'll make it even fatter. How's that? I'll make a fatter picture.
All right, dude. I'll start my own channel, dude. I'll become the alpaca really fast.
Oh, the big alpaca show?
The small alpaca.
the small alpaca presentation. That's what it'll be. All right, man. Well, listen, thanks again, AD, for joining me tonight. As always, guys, make sure to like and subscribe to the Big Llama Show on YouTube. If you're watching on Twitch on AD's channel, make sure you support him. You follow and subscribe to his Twitch streams.
You mother suckers.
If you're on my Facebook page, make sure you like there. But to really support the channel, you like and subscribe on YouTube, guys. If you're listening to this on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, or any podcast medium, Google Podcasts, please make sure you give a like there and make sure you give it a good 5-star review. Let us know what you like about the show. And in most of the Spotify ones, there's comments. You can put comments in there. So let us know what you guys think of the show. Guys, next week, again, we'll be dropping a From Russia with Love. That's the next one that I'm scheduled. And then I'm recording something tomorrow. It's either going to be 2001: A Space Odyssey, or I think I'm going to do either going to do Scarface. I am going to do a reaction to that. Or I think I'm going to do Boys in the Hood. So out of those three, I'm going to pick one of those three. It depends on how much time I have. So we'll see. We'll keep you guys guessing. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm the Big Llama. He is Blackout AD. We will see you next Sunday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Big Llama Show. Peace out, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Later.